But because I am a bit of a boring person, I might just take a few minutes from you and rejoice in a ritual that we have just begun to celebrate today. So I'm indeed very thankful to Shandip for having invited me. I don't know why he considers me important to be invited here. To the Excellencies Mr. Chitkara and Mr. Rhein. But I must tell you that what we are celebrating today belongs to our ancient, medieval and mythological past. And since in our civilization we did not record our history, a lot of our history is actually in mythologies. And it is not just that it is in India. I was recently at an archaeological site in Greece, in Mykonos. And I found that the Greeks also go back to their mythology to find out what may have happened 3,000 years ago. So what is that history and mythology that has brought us here? Mythologically speaking, and somewhat historically speaking, it is said that Lord Rama worshipped Durga. And he was fighting the demon king. It is also said that Lord Krishna requested Arjuna to worship Durga. This is mythologically speaking. Now, like Homer's Iliad, the two great mythological stories in India are the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. And both of them talk about fighting evil. And that fight is prepared through invocation of the goddess. Now that is in mythology. And you might think that, why am I talking about mythology? But there is a great scholar who got a DPhil from Oxford. She has written a very good book on medieval and ancient Indian practices. And she argues that in ancient and in medieval India, kings routinely worshipped Durga. And that had something to do with victory. This was a very elaborate ritual practice. And it was practiced not only in eastern India, in the kingdoms of Mithila, but also in southern India, in places like Aurangabad and Daulatabad. So there is an association of this goddess with victory. Often that victory could be just the victory of a kingdom over another kingdom, but also in our mythology, victory of good over evil. Now, I want to belabor the mythological point because when we invoke the name of Rama, it is not a Hindu god who wanted to dethrone Muslims or any other sect. In fact, if you remember Gandhiji, he talked about Ram Rahim, Ishwara Allah Tero Naam, Sabko Sanamati De Bhagavan. Right? So what that means is that the manner in which India and Indians invoked Ram, when Krishna was asking Arjuna to fight the war to confront evil, it was not a sectarian fight. It was not a fight between religions. It was a fight between two brothers in the same family to uproot evil. Now I must quickly conclude because I started my presentation by saying that I can't sing that song, The Titanic, which I love. And since I cannot, I will quickly conclude. But the last thing that I wanted to say is the spirit of the Mother Goddess and the spirit of the feminine form has in recent ages been witnessed in real living model beings like Anandamayi Ma and Sharada Devi. And in one of his most enlightened moments, Sharada Devi was invoked by Sri Ramakrishna, who is considered to be one of the most saintliest persons in modern Indian history, as equal to Brahman. I mean, this is such a very big statement that there is more disputes among Hindus about the difference between Kali and Brahman than there is between Muslims and Hindus. I mean, Hinduism is not a book is not a religion by a book. It is a very argumentative religion, and there are lots and lots of debates. But Sri Ramakrishna, in one of his most enlightened moments, actually said that Kali and Brahman are one and the same thing. Brahman actually is God impersonified. Brahman actually is that conception of God which makes you believe that there is Jesus Christ in every being. That makes you believe that there is Allah in every being. That makes you believe that there is Sri Ramakrishna in every being, depending on what you believe. So, why was the feminine form invoked? The reason why the feminine form was invoked, argued Sri Ramakrishna in one of his most exalted spiritual states, is that God in masculine form is inert. But it is the feminine form of the God that actually makes you do the work. So if you really want something, you have to go to the feminine form. If you want to be a good person, you have to go to the feminine form. If you want to become successful in life, you have to go to the feminine form. So the world actually does not work without the feminine form. So in a sense, this particular festival, which has been ritualized to a very great extent, because people actually believe that you have to do a lot for the goddess to worship her, is actually because they believe that she can give you whatever is it that you want. And that is for you to judge what is it that you want. Thank you very much for being here.